Hey guys, I'm Ben.
And I'm Tommy.
And we've been talking games.
And today we are going to be looking at a newer game, Sentient. Maybe not superly over new, but
It's new
Newer.
enough. Yeah, newer. GenCon release that's trickled out.
yeah, super thematic, super. Why don't you tell us about this game?
So, yeah, it's not very thematic.
No, it's not.
You have a player board with 5 different dice on it, and as the game goes, you're going to be drafting these cards. We'll call it drafting. Is that fair enough?
Sure. Yeah, because there's really no bidding.
No, yeah. So you're drafting cards, and these cards are going to modify the dice on your player board, but they also take into account the different values of the dice, and it's very puzzly.
Mhm.
You know, some cards are going to ask you that both dice on their side be odd, but it's going to change one of them up one die amount, and the other one's going to drop another die amount. But then the card that you place next to it's going to want to drop the die that you just increased, but now it wants to add that to the die to the right, giving you a total of 7. And so forth.
It sounds a lot more confusing than it really is. It's really more puzzly than anything.
It is very puzzly. You're trying to manage your dice and make them
work together.
the best as possible based on the cards you're drafting.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really unique is that there's an underlying aspect of area
control,
majority,
yeah.
whereas you're taking these cards that it's something different than anything I played.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked the puzzle of the game, and I think after my first playthrough, I was thoroughly impressed and pleased with the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might even like it more after a few more playthroughs.
Yeah.
We've only played this 2 players,
Mm-hmm.
and as for an area majority game for 2 players, I think this works really well.
Handles it very well
Because of the way that it's kind of a weird concept, so it's very abstract.
Yeah.
It's really just scoring points, but you have these cards that you're drafting,
essentially.
but when you draft them, if you will, you're placing one of your workers essentially to take it, and then that gives you arity majority on that specific spot, and you place it between 2
so it's affecting 2 different possible
areas that you're
areas,
trying to vie for. After everybody has taken all of their cards, you will then analyze who gets each
It's a modifier.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that matches up with the different cards, so it multiplies. So if you have 3 military cards and you have 2 of the military signets, if you will, you get 6 points at the end of the game for that. So it's interesting, and it's. I feel like we're not doing this game much justice.
Yeah, it's so unique. Like, you're trying to maximize your points each round based on the cards you take, but at the same time, you want to take cards that are going to go well with the different types that you're scoring bonuses for. But at the same time, you want to take cards that'll match those bonuses.
Yes.
So it's like a threefold thought process. It's like, will this card benefit me here? Yes or no. Will this card score me extra points? And will this card allow me to gain the modifier to let me score extra points?
Right. Because you're not just looking at the points. There were a few times where I think I took suboptimal cards
For the multiplying
effect and for the benefit of not losing points anywhere else on my board.
Yeah.
From like changing dice around or anything like that. It's the puzzle is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well, your assistants, you can add them when you send out your agent to increase your control, the number of majority you have out there. But by not using them there, you can use them to cancel out the addition and the modifications to your dice, giving you more control. So it's like, do I want to have control up there? Do I want to have control? It's a tug of war. There's lots going on, but it creates, like you said, a very satisfying puzzle as you're managing your dice.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
I second his motion.
I like the game, right? I've already said that I really like the game. It's thoroughly pleasant. It's an enjoyable game. I really enjoy it. But there's something about it that I don't think I love. And I don't know what that is. I don't know. Maybe you can help me put
Tune
my
in
finger
next
on it.
time as we reveal his hidden. I
don't know. Maybe it seems like one person can get, and I don't want to say that the dice rolls are incredibly lucky because they're not.
No.
And
no.
I feel like they almost play no part in the game.
It's just a randomizer essentially.
It's just okay, this is what I have to work with this round. But I don't know. I feel like I got, and maybe it's the way that I plan things, and maybe that's why it was so enjoyable for me. And you enjoyed it still. I ended up winning the game.
He has to throw that in there.
I do, yeah.
Do you want to tell them the games we played tonight, how many I won? 0. Over 3, guys. So, thanks.
I wasn't going to go there.
Of course you weren't.
But I don't know if I planned better or if the cards that came out were better for what I had rolled. I think it's hard to look at.
You managed better your pieces. Because you even saw in the last round I had 2 leftover assistants.
Yeah, that was really poor.
And I thought I did really well that round, but I could have done so much better had I taken it. But you just don't know.
Let me ask you this. How many times were you looking at the board and planning turns in advance? Or were you just looking at...
He's trying to point out that
No.
worse at
No. I'm not.
I felt like I was every turn.
Were you?
I felt like I was.
Was there ever a point where
I was in 5 tribes too? But...
Was there ever a point when you thought that you had a plan planned out and I took a card that you wanted? Did that... Because I felt like that almost never happened for me.
I don't think it
there were
did.
Few, if any, times where you took a card. Now, we only played a 2-player game. I feel like that would come up much more frequently.
I may have pressed my luck a little bit more. Because I was hoping that a card would come up in a location amongst that row where I could place mine and get the majority that I wanted to there.
What he means by that is there's you alternate turns like you would any game, but one of your actions could be to pass your turn and then you clear the row of cards and
I was hoping you would clear them at some point, but I was also hoping I wanted one of those 2 modifier tokens that would add to my bonus at the end of the game.
So you were just hoping
I was hoping you would take that card because it didn't work for me.
Right.
But I wanted those tokens, and so there's no point in placing my person up there to get a card I couldn't use. So I was kind of like stalling, hoping you'd take that card eventually, open it up, give a new card that I would need.
Well, because it's interesting, if you're first player, you break ties when applicable. And I feel like that came up at least 1 or 2 times. So that was... And even if it didn't come up, it was almost like this threat of...
It was something that prevented me from wiping because I was like, I want to be first player. I want to break ties. Because you did play a big factor in the first round.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Does it feel like a filler? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's so simple.
I think it depends on the player count.
It almost feels like a filler game.
I think it depends on the player count.
You think?
I do, because I think... So, the game that we played was, 30 minutes? Maybe 45 with rules explanation
30,
or something like
45,
that? Yes. If we were playing a game with a bunch of people and we finished... Let's say we had, a group of 8, okay? And we split up into 2 groups of 4. We played a 4-player game, they played a 4-player game, we finished our 4-player game, they were still going, and the other 2 people left. This is a very unique situation, very specific.
This happens every week to us, apparently.
If we sat down to play that game, I think we could probably bust it out in.
Yeah, but I mean, does it feel like a filler? Now that I look back at it, it felt like it played so quick. It's 3 rounds. You're requiring 4 cards each round. 12 cards is all you're dealing with over the course of the game.
It doesn't feel like a filler.
Okay.
Because of the choices.
And that's it feels like a gamer's filler.
Yes, I think that's an appropriate.
It feels like a filler, but it gave me the satisfaction of a game.
Oh man. See, because I'm looking over here and I'm seeing Magic Maze.
This is my
for
game
sale
collection over here.
For sale, Biblios.
Yeah, you have your typical fillers.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking. And even Biblios, I think, is kind of pushing it because that game can tend to run a little bit longer. But I don't think that this feels like a filler.
No.
It's got that filler-esque time span with 2 players, but I don't think that the game length. I'm sorry, I don't think that the game play.
The weight. And...
Yeah, well, and it's not heavy. I don't want to say that. I don't want to come off as saying that this is a heavy game, because the weight of the game and the time of the game with a 2-player could definitely feel like a filler. But again, I think that the choices that you're making kind of kick it out of that realm.
Okay.
I don't know. That's
So I've got 2 things that I wish were different about the game. This stand out.
okay. Really?
Yes. Are you ready?
I am.
I'm sure you'll agree.
Okay.
A, the art.
Man, every single card, regardless of the effect, was exactly the same. Well, there's single card of
5
like
factions.
types. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 suits, and they have the same image on it.
It's cheaper. But if it's cheaper, why are you charging so much for a game?
Point number 2. This is a $55
This is not
game.
a $50. This isn't a $50 game.
No, it's not even a $45 game.
It doesn't.
Maybe 40.
The weight doesn't feel like it is.
The number of components you're getting in it.
This is. I will say this about Renegade. Congratulations on having a great track record thus far.
Yeah.
I have yet to play a game from Renegade that I have not.
And they're putting lots of stuff out.
I've really enjoyed every single one. Blood of an Englishman, Sentient, Clank was probably, honestly, if I'm being honest, probably on the lower end of my likeness scale.
Gasp.
Oh, gosh.
Clank.
But I mean, that's everybody really likes Clank. And,
no, it's very popular. They have a great track record.
Yes,
and they're
but
putting
what
out
the
lots
heck?
of games.
What the heck? How much was Clank?
That's a $60 game.
$60 game. You're getting a board,
And
way more pieces.
200 card deck as opposed to a 60 card deck.
No, this is ridiculous. Boo for that.
Yeah, and the insert's not plastic. It's
I
don't know. Maybe it's a custom die. I don't know. I'm not.
The dice are pretty
the
nice.
Dice are nice, but
I think there was maybe a little bit of overproduction in some areas or something. I don't know. Was this kickstarted at all?
No.
This great game.
Yeah.
Very, very.
If you can find it for $30 to $40, pick it up.
If you can find it for cheaper, yeah.
But at a $55 price tag, make sure it's something you want.
Yeah, make sure that you even have played it already.
Yeah, definitely a good one to play before you buy.
That would be. I recommend.
But we like it, Sentient.
Really, really good. Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you next time.